Now, I was chatting with somebody the other day about some instructions that Jesus gives, or rather some advice Jesus gives that has been very important in my life, where he says to people who are gathered around a table that are trying to kind of jockey for important positions to seek the lowest place. And they turned to me and they looked at me and they said, "Why?" And in a world that often teaches us to strive for the top, to seek recognition and applause, this advice of Jesus to seek the lowest place seems to be ineffective, if not just downright weird. How can you make it in a world where everybody else is promoting themselves if you are not promoting yourself? Sometimes it seems like we are wired, or maybe trained, to climb the ladder, to compete for the spotlight, to crave the satisfaction of being on the pedestal, or at least to be seen as important by those who we deem to have validity or have a good opinion by those who are around us. But Jesus offers a very different perspective, an invitation to relinquish or let go of our ego and to embrace humility. This is the story that Luke tells in Luke chapter 14, verse 7. When he, that is Jesus, noticed how the guests picked the places of honor at the table, he told them this parable. When someone invites you to a wedding feast, do not take the place of honor, for a person more distinguished than you may have been invited. And if so, the host who invited both of you will come and say to you, "Give this person your seat." Then, humiliated, you will have to take the least important place. But when you are invited, take the lowest place, so that when your host comes, he will say to you, "Friend, move up to a better place." Then you will be honored in the presence of all the other guests. For all those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted. Jesus, in his teaching here particularly, kind of challenges the norm, urging us to find strength in our vulnerability, to serve instead of being served, and to find greatness in the lowest place. But on top of that, he says, really, if you want to be honored by others, then you should let them recognize the gifts that are there. The amazing thing is that in these humbling moments, we truly connect with others, offer genuine compassion, and discover the beauty of selflessness. And it's in those moments of genuine connection and selflessness that you actually are recognized for being the good human that you are. I heard this morning on the radio that there's a person who does job interviews for a large company, and he always goes to the kitchen and offers them a cup of coffee or something else, and then they go in and they have their interview. But part of this is a test to see at the end of the interview whether that person will take that cup and bring it back to the kitchen or leave it on their desk. And he says if they leave it on the desk, they're not going to be hired because they're not showing that they're willing to serve. And this is not necessarily an easy path. Wrestling with this paradox, we have to assess our own ambitions, our desires for recognition, and our fear of being overlooked. In fact, we will be overlooked for a while. And then we have to ask, who are we really working for? Ourselves, our ego, our need for recognition, or are we honestly seeking the best way to serve? Because if we're honestly seeking the best way to serve, then waiting for others to recognize how we are serving is totally fine. In seeking the lowest place, we confront those kinds of inner struggles and recognize the need for a transformed heart. And as we do so, we begin to grasp the depth of Jesus' wisdom, to find strength in surrender, to embrace humility as a source of true power, and to lift others up by lowering ourselves instead of trying to raise ourselves by lowering them. Ultimately, seeking the lowest place isn't about self-degradation, but about becoming a vessel of love, mirroring the sacrificial love Jesus showed to us. It's not about false humility, but it's about recognizing that we are there to serve with the gifts that we have. And so as we wrestle with these profound words to seek the lowest place, may we find the courage to let go of our ego, to humble ourselves, and to seek greatness in the service of others.